Joining us right now is Mike Abrams. He served 8 years in the Marines where he saw combat. After active duty, he launched FourBlock. That's a program that helps bridge the gap between returning service members and the business community. And Mike, thank you for your service, first of all.
Oh, thank you, Becky.
And thank you for being with us today. It's great to see you.
Thank you.
So after you served, you went back and got your MBA.
I did.
What happened in terms of what that led you to, what this program is?
Sure. So when I was on active duty, my last couple of years in the Marine Corps, I was in New York and I was a recruiter. And as part of that, I got to go to a lot of events around the city, a lot of military-related events, and I had the honor of escorting an Iwo Jima survivor by the name of Alan Striffler. And through the relationship that I developed with him, he said to me one night, he goes, you know, Mike, I had post-traumatic stress when I got home, but there was no such thing as post-traumatic stress back then.
Right.
And the only thing that really saved me was that my uncle got me out of bed one morning. He took me to Standard Oil in Stamford, Connecticut, and he got me a job. And he joked that he was in the Marine Division, he was sitting next to an Army veteran who was in Normandy, and he finally had meaning and purpose in his life. He had a reason to get out of bed.
Yeah.
And it was that that really got me thinking about how to help these vets as they transition back to find meaning and purpose so they don't go down that downward spiral.
You know, what are some of the biggest issues for veterans who are returning home and trying to get into the business world?
Sure. There's a couple things. But you know, I would say the first thing is really around underemployment. The second thing is corporate culture.
Coming into a job that you may be overqualified for at first?
Transition is something that we do throughout our entire lives. It's nothing new, right? I mean, you're a freshman in high school, you get to be a senior, you're the king of the school, then you go to college, right? And then you're the king, you know, you're a senior, you're the king, and then you start a new job and you're starting all over again. So we're constantly kind of taking a step back, starting anew, and then, you know, working our way up. It's no different when you leave the military and you start a new career. Because you're kind of starting all over again. You got to prove yourself, you got to earn your stripes, and then you got to move up. You know,
it's interesting though. I've heard corporate leaders like Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan and Bobby KOTICK who have said things like, look, people coming from the military are the perfect employees. They may not know exactly what to do at your business place, but they know how to follow orders, they know how to pick up and actually achieve an objective, and they know how to get the work done, and they're incredibly hard workers. Do you think most employers actually recognize that or not?
I think so. And I think the major difference between the military culture and the corporate culture is really, in the military culture, everything is built around teamwork. Everything is built around taking care of one another. It's built into everything that we do in the military. You eat together, you sleep together, you work together, right? You travel together, you do missions together, right? And if you feel like you're failing or if you feel like you're not keeping up, someone is always there to make sure that you're going to be successful. Someone always has your back. When you go into in the civilian world, in the corporate world, it's much more individual. So there's a lot less of that teamwork. There's a lot less of that person kind of always looking over your shoulder to make sure that you're successful. And it's a difficult transition for some to make.
Although it's hard to think that having that in the workplace wouldn't be a great thing too. Just that idea of teamwork, if we could really make that come out on the other side.
Well, that's one thing that service members can certainly bring to corporate America is that notion, is that selfless service, is that attitude of teamwork.
How different is it right now, just given what a strong jobs market it is? How much has that helped things?
Oh, I think it's fantastic. The overall veteran unemployment right now is 2.9%. For post 9/11 veterans, it's about 3.1% or so. So companies have done a fantastic job, particularly over the last 6 years, in being able to identify those service members that would be a good fit for their company. And another thing that's really starting to improve now is the retention. A couple years ago, some research came out that about half of service members leave their first post-military job within the first year. And we're starting now to see that that's improving. So there's a better decision-making process for both service members and companies when they come together for a hire.